have a question.
No questions today, it's too hot.
Okay. I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos. Is
Yes.
it okay to follow you for the tour?
Yeah, of course, mate. I'm pretty famous on YouTube as it is.
I have like 1 to 3 million every month.
3 million every month.
Yes.
Then we really need to talk because I have another business
Okay.
that I own and we need to have a chat.
Yes, if you need any promotion videos,
Yeah.
I'm nice to do it.
Absolutely. Cool. What? Right then, let me write down.
And also, please tell the if anyone is not convenient for the camera.
I'll make sure.
Today I'm going for a walking tour, a free walking tour based on tip. And I got an allergement, so I have to wear masks. Okay.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
So this is a piece of information. In Melbourne, there is a free tram service area. With first we take the free tram and go to meeting point. It is a free walking tour, but it starts like a free tram tour. We take tram again. I thought I'm a very quick walker, but they are much quicker than I need. Now we come to a meeting point. I think this is the number. This is the member of walking tour today. They are mostly Western young ladies. I'm the only Asian in the group now today.
Guys, what I'll get everyone to do is jump in front of me here.
But maybe I'm the only original local. Okay.
My number one aim of today is to keep you in the shade at all times. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to try, all right? I'm going to try. So, welcome. We're going to have a lovely walk around Melbourne today. My name's Adam. I'm sorry to anyone who's expecting an Outback Jack and a strong Australian accent to be taking you around today. I do know the city quite well. I've been here 7 years. And yeah, apologies just for my accent in general, really. I know it's not going to win sexiest accent in the world anytime soon. If you do have a bit of a problem understanding me, it's definitely not you, it's me. If I'm speaking too fast or too north of England, just tell me. I don't know how much I can do about it, but I'll try my best. I should probably introduce you to Daniel. I have my personal videographer go around everywhere with me, and Daniel films everything. So think like the Osbournes, Kardashians. That's pretty much me and Daniel here. That's our relationship. No, he's not really. He is a YouTube something. He's a YouTube sensation, and he's going to be filming us today. Is anyone uncomfortable being on camera? No? Good. Get behind. It's been lovely having you on vlog today, but we're just the home of the Victorian Parliament. It's actually the home of the Parliament for all of Australia. Now, the reason for that was Canberra did not exist. Canberra is a purpose-built city. So Australia governed itself through 6 separate states up until 1901, when the Federation occurred. Now, these states, as politics goes, they couldn't come to a diplomatic, normal, adult decision on things. So they couldn't decide whether Sydney, the first city, should be the capital. Had enough again, sorry mate. Or Melbourne, marvellous Melbourne, a city booming after the gold rush, could be the capital. So what they did was, came to a really logical decision and thought, let's build a city halfway in between. And it's not even halfway in between. So if anyone was planning on going to Canberra, because it's the capital, it's basically embassies, art galleries, and that's about it. So until 1901 till 1927, this building here housed the National Houses of Parliament. Now, we're gonna try and keep it moving today because I'm aware it's very hot. So, stood in front of the Treasury building. Now the Treasury building here literally exists purely because of the gold rush. So the gold rush is an interesting story. So the first gold found in Australia is actually in Sydney in 1823. Now, this wasn't publicised, this was kept under wraps. Reason being, the colonial forces thought the workers that were working for nothing, they might leave their jobs and go and dig for gold. 1849 came, gold rush in California. Guess what happens? Everyone goes to dig for gold. So in 1850, gold was found northwest, around the Ballarat region, northwest of Melbourne, as we know it now. Now, even then, that wasn't well publicised, because then Melbourne was still, or Victoria, as we know it now, was still attached to New South Wales under Governor Burke. Now, if you know you sat on a lot of gold, you don't want to share it with anyone else, do you? And if you want to separate yourself from New South Wales, a good way to go about it would be to name the state after the then head of state, which would be the Queen. So in 1851, Victoria officially separated from New South Wales, and would you believe it, weeks later, what was discovered? A lot of gold. In the next 10 years, more gold was mined anywhere, more gold was mined in the Melbourne region than anywhere else in the world. Melbourne went from a population of 77,000 to 600,000. For a Chupa Chup, designed in Barcelona, I've just found out, can anyone tell me the weight of the biggest nugget of gold ever mined to this day, which was around this region, in kilograms for any Americans? 32? Feel like that's not worth it, but there you go. 69 kilos. 69 kilos. It was called the Welcome Stranger. That's what they named it, which I think is a really, even then, like proper dry, sarcastic Aussie sense of humour there. Welcome Stranger is a good name, because there's no more welcome stranger than a 69 kilo piece of gold. Now, Melbourne boomed from then on, and these buildings you see around us, the Windsor Hotel, this grand building here, all the grand architecture you see around you, was Melbourne showing off their wealth. They called it Marvellous Melbourne, and it turned into one of the wealthiest cities in the world. This building here, the Treasury Building, as I said, purely existed because of gold. It was built using the wealth of the gold, and it was used to store the gold. Now, is anyone here under the age of 20? You too, right. Have you ever designed a building like this? You need to pull your finger out, guys. This was designed by a 19-year-old. Mr. John Joseph Clark designed this. 19 years old, and when it actually becomes more amazing when you look at it, when it was designed by a 19-year-old, it's not just a big building, it's a pretty intricate design with, yeah, it's absolutely spectacular, and still today is one of the most revered buildings in Australia. Also pretty cool, it's the home of the Victorian Registry Office for marriage. So not just popping down to your local registry office, you can get married in one of the coolest buildings in Australia. What are you doing? Photo, video? Cool, we need to go. We're going. So we're on Collins Street. That end of Collins Street is known as the New York Quarter, full of a banking district and kind of personality lacking skyscrapers. This end, very different, known as the Paris Quarter. You've got all this fantastic architecture. You've also got all these boutique fashion retailers, the kind of shops that we're probably never going to go in. To be honest, we're probably never going in. Now, anyone think Melbourne's a bit easier to get around than Sydney? Yes, I've got one nod. That's good. And is that because of the grid? The grid of getting around. Europeans love it. Efficient Germans love the grid. Now that grid is known as the Hoddle Grid. Mr. Robert Hoddle was a surveyor that came down with Governor Burke from New South Wales to put some regulation around a pretty rogue city at the time. Now, he formed this grid system which goes from Flinders Street to Latrobe, from Spencer Street, which is where Southern Cross Station is, up to where we just met, nearly. That was an expensive tour, wasn't it? At the top of Spring Street. Now these streets, you've got these big streets. So you've got Flinders Street, Collins Street, Burke Street, Lonsdale, Latrobe Street. Really wide streets. From building to building, they're 99 foot wide. Now that was actually so they could get 4-horse and carts to turn in the street. Now all the little streets we know now, which make it really easy to get around, so your Little Burke, Little Collins, it's a very Melbourne thing, it's kind of know where you are. They actually were a bit of a bone of contention between the governor and between Robert Hoddle. Robert Hoddle didn't want them. He wanted just these grand streets and it's fine. Governor Burke, he said, we need them. We need them for unloading goods. We need them for maintenance. We need them for wastage. We basically need little streets, access. And those streets are 33 feet wide. Now it's really easy now, wherever you are, if you're on a little street, to know you're flanked by two of the big streets. Now, because of that 99 feet, it meant Melbourne was pretty much destined, well not destined, but it was a natural organic flow into having the tram network. Because if these streets weren't so wide, we wouldn't be able to have these trams that turn and make these big turns. Now the tram network in Melbourne is the biggest in the world. A lot of people think it's San Fran, St. Petersburg, but no, this tram network, the longest in the world. How long? Pretty close, isn't it?
Oh, what?
270, no, it's 250. But 250, really close and really surprising. Yeah, 250 kilometres, biggest in the world, and yeah, everyone just knows Melbourne now because of their trams. If anyone's seen at the moment, there's a lot of trams with a load of art on them. They're doing like art month, and a lot of them have got moustaches on at the moment for Movember. It's pretty cool. We're gonna head to a laneway and check out some laneway art, learn about laneway culture. We're gonna get a coffee just after that. If anyone wants cash for the coffee, there's a cash machine just here. And yeah, then you can just catch us up. You'll see us probably rolling around. And we're gonna get into some shade again. Yay for shade. Try to spot shade.
No.
Melbourne's famous for its street art, its laneway culture. We're going to have a bit of a chat about that in a second on the, well, basically at the bottom of here. What I want you to do though is I just want to invite you all to just take a wander around here, take some photos and look everywhere. What I tell people in Melbourne is not just to look at eye level, but look all above you, even below you, you'll see cool street art, messages, bars, cocktail bars, restaurants, wherever you are. So we're going to just walk around at your own pace, take some photos. God, it's a good job I'm used to the camera, eh? And then at the bottom we're just going to stop in front of a couple of art pieces and I'll tell you a bit more about Melbourne's laneway culture. All good? I always stop up here, but I wanted to stop down there because I wanted to show you those two new pieces of art down there. So there's not many places in the world where I'd actively say go and look at laneways, go walk down every laneway that you see. Yesterday, so I've lived here 7 years, yesterday I found 5 new streets, like little laneways in the city, just in the city, all within probably 500 meters of each other, because I was doing a bit of a walk and trying to find some new places. And it's when I actually saw those two massive new pieces of art there. Does anyone know who Malcolm Young is? Go on, Frenchie. No? So Malcolm Young was the rhythm guitarist in AC/DC. So AC/DC, huge Australian band in the 70s, 80s. And this lane we're stood on now is actually named AC/DC Lane. Melbourne's known as quite a progressive, liberal, different kind of city. And yeah, calling it after one of Australia's biggest rock bands is pretty cool. Is that you're also on the street of, sorry, I should touch on that Malcolm Young, actually died this Sunday. Place it over. While they make it, I'm going to time my story about coffee to absolute perfection. So when I'm finished, like what they're saying. Just so people can go up there and then we're all fine. I reckon by the end of the day I'm going to make a great school teacher. Great school teacher. This is probably the nicest day I've ever done this tour. So I've done a few tours, then I went away for a few weeks and I've come back and suddenly it's really bloody hot. I never had to look for shade until last week. And yeah, beautiful day, we've got no wind. I've seen no clouds until I've just seen that coming over. But yeah, it's incredible. And what I love about Melbourne and cities in Australia really is, for someone that lives in Europe and has been to London and other big world cities, this is 30 seconds away from Federation Square, which is the main part of the city. And it's the middle of the day and look how many people are out. It's not often you get these quiet little spots. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. We're on the River Yarra. So quite a funny story about the River Yarra is basically when English settlers got here, they spoke to the indigenous people in English, which was their major mistake that they kept repeating, because funnily enough, the people that had lived in Australia for 60,000 years hadn't learned English. Weird, isn't it? So they said, what is this called? And they said, Yarra Yarra, which means flowing water. Oh, so they thought, right, that's Yarra. We'll call it Yarra River. We'll mix it and match it. Go to the next river. Speak to the locals. What's this called? Yarra Yarra. Shit. They're all Yarra Yarra, aren't they? It just means the water. So it's stuck, and Melbourne's now known, see, by the river that flows through. You've got South Bank there, you've got North Bank here. So this river is, whether you think the south side of the city's cool, St Kilda, the beaches, or the north side, you've got Fitzroy, Carlton, big European influence to that side. Yeah, it's the river that separates it. Sorry guys about leaving you there. I'm going to blame the guy who parked in the middle of the green light. So I don't usually stop here. I usually stop in Fed Square. But that's because for the entirety of my time doing the tours, this scaffolding has been all the way up Flinders Street. This is the first time I've ever done a tour with it down. Now Flinders Street station used to be the busiest train station in the world in the 1920s. Absolutely insane piece of architecture. And it's my mum's favourite building in Melbourne. Every time I walk down here and see that, I look up at it. I actually took a photo of it yesterday, even though I've been here so long. I'm always just in awe of it. They've restored it to its former glory, so its original colours. And down the bottom here, where the last bit of scaffolding hasn't been taken down,
film going on.
Earlier this week we went to Australia, and usually that Matt's planning on like trying to make it entire turkey.
He's alright. It was his birthday yesterday.
So like we don't get like a script or set places we have to stop, and this is probably, it's not logistically brilliant, but it gives you a real taste of Melbourne, and it's kind of what walking tours are about. So this is not like a tourist spot, this is people having their lunch every day in Melbourne. It looks cool and it's great for tourists. You've got the street art, you've got the cafe culture here, but it's just what we do day to day. So I think it's really cool that you get to see it, and I saw a few of you getting pictures down here. The pictures down here look so cool, and just see that, yeah, it's not just kind of a cafe culture, and laneway isn't just a fad, it's actually just normal life here, and it's pretty cool. Now the food down here is pretty damn good as well. Hell's Kitchen here is a really cool spot. It's great for people watching as well. You just sit up in that window there. There's a place down here called the Soup Kitchen. I don't know if you saw the post-it notes on the wall, anyone? That's for paying forward. So you can pay $3.50 more than your meal, write a little post-it note, and a homeless person can come and get their dinner for the day. It's a really cool initiative. We actually run a few other tours as well with another company called Urban Adventures. And basically the tours are absolute local experiences of a city. So it could be food, could be alcohol, could be a mix of both, plus the Eureka Tower. And we kind of run those experiences all week and all over Melbourne. So we're gonna take a shortcut through here now. Reason is, I've discovered this is one of the first ever banks in Australia. The bank is only traditionally used in history.
Just failed to cross the street with the group. I think it got lost. Okay, but it is very close to the end of the tour. Show you around the Melbourne I'm not actually new here. I'm a kind of local, but just show you what a walking tour is about. I'm so sorry, I've lost the tour. I just say thank you, Adam, and all this group of people. Thank you. Bye bye.